Hi guys, welcome once again to Loverton. I want to say a very big thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to those who have been subscribing, leaving comments and all. I just want to say a very big thank you. And if you are just joining us or you're just here for the first time, I also want to say thank you. On this channel, we talk about some of the challenges that teenagers and young adults go through and how we as parents, teachers, guardians, and grown-ups around these people can help them overcome these challenges so they can grow and become sound minds. And if you're just joining for the first time, once again, I say you're welcome. I know this is something you're going to love. And if you do, please like, share, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can always get notifications on whenever I upload new videos. So today we'll be talking about the strategies to support academic expectations on teenagers and young adults. Before now, we talked about the negative effects of high academic expectations and comparison on teenagers and young adults. I will be dropping a link in the description box of the previous video so you can, check it out so you'll be able to follow up on what we've been discussing about. By strategies, we simply mean how we can support these academic expectations on teenagers and young adults. Number one point I want to be hitting today will be open communication. Number one strategy will be open communication and emotional support. Open communication and emotional support. By open communication, we mean dialogue. Create a safe space for sharing. Create a safe space between yourself, as parents, as teachers, as adults, between yourselves and the teenager. We must learn to encourage a safe space, to create a safe space for sharing. And we can only do this. The thing is, as parents, we must understand that before you can create a safe space for a young person or a young teenager to talk to, it's something that is long coming. Even as children, sometimes when you're tired from work, and I know my children, once I come back, or sometimes even when you go to pick them from the road, they are telling you exactly what happened. Sometimes I'm too tired, but I know that they want to. Sometimes my one of my daughters, in fact, both of them, they will tell you, Mommy, it's just small now, just wait, it will not waste your time. Just because they want to, they all, as young people, they always want to talk about certain things. Then teenagers sometimes can be secretive, but they find people that they confide in. Really, yes, they do. They find people that they confide in. Now, they can only confide in you or talk to you or have open communications and dialogue with you if it is something that, you know, has been developed or has been existing from when they were kids or very young toddlers, from when they started talking. You will hear very children when they are coming back from school, when they are in school, when they are at home, they want to give you story. They watch something, they want to tell you. You, as parents, we just need to learn how to be patient enough to create a safe space for sharing, to create a space where these children can feel, safe enough to tell you whatever it is that they feel, their feelings and concerns regarding academic pressure. Yes, this you just you just have to be patient when it comes to children and teenagers and young people around us. We have to become active listeners. You have to listen. Sometimes you have solutions to profile, but sometimes just listen. Listening will go a long way in doing a lot. Sometimes just listen to understand their own perspective on why probably they are going a bit low in some subjects, why they're not doing so well. Sometimes listen, sometimes it might not even be their fault. I remember vividly when I was in secondary, when I just entered GS1, and I had a teacher then. I don't know, for some reason, I think it was mistaken identity. So every time she sees me in the class, she would tell me, I hate you, I hate you. And, I just finished primary school. And in primary school, I was doing well. So when I got there, it was, and funny thing is, this teacher is an English teacher, a subject that is very important. So she kept on, and every time I go home, I'll tell my mom I will be crying. Every blessed day, I will cry. As small as I was, I will cry. My mom was, and my mom being a teacher too, she was, skeptical about, approaching the teacher so that she does not create a scene. She was finding ways not to escalate the problem. So eventually, when we, but I had always been talking about it at home, so she knew about it. Eventually, when we wrote exams and wrote tests, and after the exams, our report card, then it's called report card, our report card was given to us, and I noticed that the space for English, I had only scores for the first CA and the second CA and projects. But the score for the exam was totally, removed, like it was not there at all. Luckily for me, when they were sharing scripts, the answer scripts to the exams, or I collected mine when they were distributing. So by the time the result came, then they used to give position. I came out third. Well, my mom she wasn't really bothered due to the fact that by the grace of God, in primary school, it was usually first, second, first most of the time. First, second, but most of the time first. I'm not bragging here, please. So when she saw it, she was like, okay, maybe, you've gone to a new place, there's competition and all. So she could, understand it, it wasn't really a problem. But then I noticed that on that report card, the score for the English exam was completely removed. It wasn't there. And I told her, Mommy, see the reason why I got third. I started crying. I said, so this woman went all the way to still not add my score. The head chef got to this point. I cried and cried, and that was the point. That was the last straw. My mom got angry. Said, oh yeah, mom, go there, mom, go there. We went there. We got to the staff room, and she started talking and complaining that every day this girl comes home. Every day since she started this first term, every day she comes home and cries that an English teacher, a particular woman, will always tell her she hates her, she hates her. And it was she was ignoring it. She didn't want to make so much noise about it. Now it had gotten to the point where this woman intentionally removed the child's score from the report book. No, this is too much. My mom got angry. My mom was shouting. My mom was complaining, talking. Me, I was behind her crying. And the teachers were telling her, Madam, please calm down. My mom was trying to avoid this because it was a new school. And for goodness sake, she's also a teacher. My mom is still a teacher. She's also a teacher. And, it didn't feel right, but she had to. She got mad. She was angry. And when everybody tried to calm her down, they now called the English teacher then and resolved it. She apologized that she does not even know. She thought it was one child that had an issue with her in the primary school of that school. So it was obviously a case of mistaken identity, and I was suffering for it unknowingly. But after that, the situation was resolved, the whole case resolved, but they had to beg my mom that even if they add the score, they know I'll probably have done, higher than the third position. But my mom should please, just bear with them. That for them to call back other report books and score sheet and start redoing, because they've given everybody their report booklet or report card. So my mom was like, she's not really, not in the position is also important to my mom because it used to be important to her. It's also important to her, but if that she wanted to ensure that this thing does not linger and continue. So that case was resolved. So you can see that sometimes listen, because sometimes it's not even the child's fault, it's not the teenager's fault. It could be something it could happen as a result of. So sometimes as a result of another person's fault, it could be the teacher's fault, it could be something else. So sometimes let's be active listeners, as listening to know their own perspectives and to validate their own experiences. It's a very strong strategy. Show empathy. Show empathy and understanding as parents and grown-ups around young people. I'm also guilty of this because I remember vividly when one of my students told me, Mrs. Towers, why is it that parents don't ever agree when they are in the wrong? Even when they are in the wrong, they will find a way to make it not look like they are in the wrong. And I understand because even as a parent, I do that sometimes. Sometimes something happens and you know, react, I overreact about it, and then I come back and say, I shouldn't have even reacted this way. This thing nourish like this. So sometimes let us we also went through this stage of adolescence and and teenage age. So let's learn to show empathy. Let's learn to acknowledge the stress and the challenges that these young people face as teenagers, as adolescents. Let's also learn to show empathy and understand them. As teachers too in class, some of us teachers, we don't come with this fierceness. You must learn or you must learn. We come as if we were not once young people, or we were not once teenagers, or we didn't have some of this youthful exuberance. We just come as if as no, even as teachers in class. You know, when a child knows that this teacher understands some of these things, when they know that you have empathy, you understand the stress they go through, sometimes it's even an added plus, like it's a pivot point for them to sit and listen to you. Like sometimes it's a reason why they will want to sit and listen, even when they feel like you're something. And when they know that as a teacher you understand them, you as a parent you show empathy in class, you when you are teaching, you it will be obvious that this one understands what we are going through. Sometimes, move away, digress from teaching sometimes to make them understand that, oh, these challenges that they are facing, and you know that, oh, it comes with this age, it comes with growing, it comes with maturing, and sometimes when they know that you understand and you have empathy towards them, they will sit and listen. Sometimes it is that your empathy that makes them want to sit and listen to you, that makes them want to understand what you're teaching. And then regular check-ins. As parents and teachers and grown-ups around young people, we must learn to initiate conversations. We must learn to sometimes, just when you come, hey, mommy, that's your assignment that you failed that day. Have you corrected it? That one that you were complaining about, that you don't understand how they do so did. Do you now understand it? Sometimes, if you know you are even good with some of these things, help them. Initiate conversations that will help you know how they are coping with academic stress. How they are coping academically. Then walk through conflicts with them. If they're having some issues with probably teachers or their classmates, or with you, or with some other grown-ups around them, help them to walk through these conflicts, help them to develop conflict resolution skills to address any kind of conflicts that they might be having with people around them, with their classmates, with their teachers, with their friends. With sometimes these conflicts can also affect them academically. So help young people around you develop conflict resolution skills and address disagreements constructively. The second point, or the second strategy to support academic expectations, will be setting realistic expectations. Setting realistic expectations. As parents, as teachers, as grown-ups around these people, while we know it is natural to want your child to succeed, to want your teenager to succeed, it is also very important to set realistic expectations. It is also important that you emphasize the effort that they put in over perfection in their scores. See, when we say emphasizing effort, set goals that you know that, okay, you can, for example, you say for you to be able to set realistic goals, set achievable goals. It's very important. You do not expect a child who probably has been getting 10/60 in maths, and then you are telling the child that if you don't score 60/60 or 55/60 this term, I won't do anything. Is it realistic? You that are saying it, is it realistic? Do you think it's achievable? Before now, that child has not been doing well in maths or has not been doing well in a particular subject. And you're telling the child by the next term that the child must achieve this, that is you being unrealistic. That is you not being truthful to yourself. Please forgive this light situation by Nigeria. So that is you not being realistic. That's you not being truthful with yourself. We know it is important, we know you want your child to succeed, but set achievable goals to prevent them from being overwhelmed and stressed, and when they are trying so hard to meet up with the goals and the expectations that you have put on them. By the time they are trying too hard to get there, they become overwhelmed. When you set unnecessary goals, your expectations are not realistic, and this child is trying to meet up to avoid problems with you, it can become overwhelming and stressful. So we must learn to set realistic goals. We know everybody wants their children to succeed. Everybody wants their children to aim high. Every teacher expects that you want their children to aim high. Every person wants the young people around them to aim high. But let us learn to set achievable goals, little by little, gradually. You see a child that is not doing so well in maths. It's always between the grades. His score is always between 10 to 15 over 16 in maths or over 70 in maths. You cannot tell that child that from 10 to 15 he should go to 70 over 70 or 65 over 70. Gradually, okay, set realistic goals. Emphasize effort. Let us learn to emphasize effort rather than perfection. Let us learn to let the children know, I need you to just put extra effort. We can do this together. We can work through this together. Putting extra effort, emphasizing effort rather than perfection.